2023 to order. Detective, if you would lead us in the pledge, please.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Then, for recording, would you like to do a roll call, please, of our board?
Mr. Lindsay,
Present.
Mr. Fana. Absent. Mr. Pemper. Absent.
Late.
Mr. Smith
Here.
and Chair Slotnick.
Present, thank you very much.
We have a quorum.
All those who are going to testify, stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, when you come up to talk, please state your name for the record and spell your last name as well. Thank you. The minutes of November 9th were sent out by Joyce. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections for them?
Excuse me, Chair. Do we want to do the introduction of the new members?
You're absolutely correct. Chris Smith, welcome to the Nuisance Abatement Board.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
The minutes have gone out. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? If not, can we please have a vote to approve?
So moved. And turn off rendition.
So he's the new guy.
Did we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. First, we are going to call case number 23-02-01, One Stop Shop. Detective.
Yes, sir. One stop. Before the board right now for the status hearing, I've been in contact with Mr. Abatement several times. Everything's good standing. For the past 30 days, only one call with the police information with no report written, so it's coded out, so there's nothing significant. Property is still in compliance, good standing, and I will have to return on January 11th for our next hearing. He is out of jurisdiction as of February 16th. Everything's good to go.
Awesome, thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
You've been doing a great
Thank you.
job. I
Thank
know
you so
you're
much.
getting ready for the end of this to come here.
Yeah. I don't know if it's email for the next one. I'm just waiting to see how is everything going.
We'll see you on January 11th.
Thank you. See you
Thank you
soon.
much. Have a very good
Happy holiday for everybody and happy new year.
Happy New Year's.
Thank
Eve as
you.
well.
See you soon.
And we're gonna go a little bit out of turn, our newest for the evidentiary hearing has somewhere else to go after hearing. He'd asked to go ahead and time, so we're gonna let that happen. So we are going to call case number 23-10-04-1010 Northeast 17th Avenue Speedies. Have a seat. Please identify yourself.
Yes, my name is David Geller. Good to see you. I represent Speedies. I'm an attorney. I represent Speedies. Thank you for letting me go out of order. I'm not sure, should I go first or? Detective, would you like to?
Yeah, obviously, Mr. Gallagher, who's standing in as a representative for Speedies. This was supposed to be last month, but it's rescheduled for this month. All right, so a little facts on the case. Speedies, located 1010 East Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. It's located just north of Sunrise Boulevard on the east side of Northeast 17 Ave. According to the Broward County Property Appraiser website, he purchased it in 2005, and the store is currently open 24 hours a day. Over the last 6 months, the property has had 63 calls for service. Within 2 years, it's had 148 calls. The nature of the calls are they vary in significance. Calls include narcotics, armed robbery, stabbing, and drug overdose. Some other significance. So due to the first qualifying incident, which occurred on 6/21, we met with the property owner, which is Muhammad Haroon. on September 9th and spoke to him regarding some of our concerns. We spoke briefly regarding some of the suspicious activity occurring at the business. He stated he's trying to clean up the business and started by removing the gambling machines, which were just inside the front window. There were like 5 or 6 of them. The machines provided reasons for subjects to hang out and kind of hide from police presence. Cops drive by, nobody's out front, looks clean. They're inside hiding behind the machines. I also advised him that the business was selling small cylinder glass tubes sold as roses, which are used to smoke crack. And also he was also selling a little Brillo, which they use as a filter for the glass pipe. People who smoke crack cocaine. So they're selling both, which everybody that smokes crack uses those. There's only one use for them. Nobody buys a little rose. I didn't bring it. I left it out for tonight, but it's a little glass cylinder sold as a rose. So he advised us that the store owner got rid of those items and no longer sells them. On October 26th, we met with Mr. Haroon again and presented him with a warning letter and advised him that he would be called to appear at the NAB board meeting on November 9th. Prior to last month's meeting, Mr. Haroon referred us to his attorney, David Geller, and after receiving the paperwork by email, Mr. Geller asked for a month continuance till this meeting, which we're here now. Qualifying incidents for nuisance abatement on 6/21, we had delivery of cocaine on the property. 9/19 was possession of methamphetamine on the property, and 9/27 another delivery of cocaine on the property. Just a little summary of some notable incidences. On July 4th, officers responded to the parking lot of Speed where they found a subject lying flat on his back, surrounded by a crowd of people pouring water on him. The male subject had shallow breathing, blue lips, and sweating profusely. The subject was administered 2 separate Narcan deployments, still unconscious, before fire responded and transported him to the hospital. Just addicts typically overdose while administering their drugs, which leads me to believe that the subject was using narcotics on the property. September 9th, 2023, officers responded to Speedies in reference to a stabbing. During altercation, 2 men were arguing out front of the store and both began to fight. During this fight, one man pulled out a box cutter and cut the other guy right across the chest. There were several other subjects trying to break up the fight, and the incident was ongoing for about 30 minutes, which means they were sitting in front of the store doing this for a period of time. September 14th, officers met with a subject at Broward General who was robbed in front of Speedies. The subject had blood on his face and blood on the back of his head. The subject said he went to Speedies to buy weed. He said he did not have any particular person to meet with, but just was hoping to come across somebody while he was there. He was going to come across someone who was going to sell him some weed there, which means word around town, or he knew that people there sell drugs. So he went in the store. As he came out, he asked, must have been people there who had weed. Who's got weed? Black male told the purchaser he had some weed. The male looking for the weed had $80 in his hand, which the black male then took from him. They both began to argue, and the buyer was pistol whipped in the head by the black male, who also then produced another handgun. The purchaser was also pistol whipped again by another subject who was also on scene with that black male. They then began to punch and kick the weed purchaser, at which time he left the property, called 911, and then was transported to BGH. So a little instance like that, you guys can make your assumption on it. So I've been there several times, did many checks on drive-by. I talked to him, he got rid of the gambling machines. Prior to the gambling machines, there was all guys hanging out in there. Some of when we were on the property buying drugs, they would walk inside and the people hanging out. Nobody was telling them to leave, hang out inside. Would direct the guy to come outside, stay away from me. They get the dope and they sell to them on the property. So as of right now, a couple little recommendations that we want to give to Speedies. You ready for them?
Sure.
All right, the owner,
Is it the copy you sent me?
yeah, I'm just gonna read them out loud.
You have a copy?
Good?
But I can
No,
get
no,
it,
she doesn't have a copy.
but we can get a copy.
Okay,
We can get your copy of recommendation for sure.
Yeah, for electronic. Okay.
okay.
All right, let's start with the owner will
For the
maintain
record, can we also recognize that
Mr. Pember has arrived,
He's here.
our fourth board member.
And most important,
Most important.
that was a joke.
Oh, I think we're done. Thank you.
Your cookies. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll sleep.
First recommendation we're gonna go with is the owner will maintain a trespass affidavit on file with the police department and have posted authorized no trespassing signs on all sides of the property within 7 days of today. The owner will ensure that no persons loiter in the parking lot, on the sidewalks, and with all areas of the property, as well as inside the store during business hours. The owner will report what the current hours of business are. Obviously, some of these we talked about already, we know. The owner will provide a copy of all business operating liquor and related licenses. The owner will laminate and clear this display within 7 days. And for the duration of the jurisdiction, signs measuring 16 by 20 stating that the property is under jurisdiction of the Nuisance Abatement Board and is being monitored by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The signs will be placed on each side of the front door, as well as the interior counter area and the north side parking lot. Placement will ultimately be directed by the investigating detective. Within 30 days, the owner will install and maintain a minimum of 1 exterior surveillance video camera on each side of the property and a minimum of 1 interior surveillance video camera capturing the entry and exit of the business as well as the counter area. And 1 interior camera that will be focused on the cashier and cash register, which will monitor and record the activity transactions. The cameras will be maintained according to all Fort Lauderdale City code requirements. The exterior surveillance video cameras will be mounted and positioned at strategic locations to ensure that all activity outside of the business on the property is monitored and recorded. The surveillance video will be made available to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department during all business hours and can be used for any purpose they desire relevant. The owner will maintain all exterior security lighting on all sides of the building according to all City of Fort Lauderdale code requirements and will be illuminated dusk till dawn. The owner will remove any narcotic paraphernalia being sold from the store immediately. This includes but not limited to glass rose stems, the chore boy, rolling paper, small plastic baggies, all other pipes and smoking instruments, scales, weed grinders, all CBD items that contain CBD and THC or like items. The owner will seize the use of and immediately remove any gambling machines at the establishment. They have already taken all of those out already. The owner will maintain the property free of any debris or trash. The owner will remove all large window signs blocking view inside the store from the front windows. The owner will conduct property checks at location not less than once weekly and email the investigative detective each week to advise the status on the compliance of each item of this order, any nuisance related activity, any trespasses that occur, and any other concerns. This should include photos of the location at the time of inspection. Not less than 1 inspection per month shall occur during the nighttime hours. The investigative cost total dollar amount of $1,685.89. The owners that are assessed 50% of this amount, and the investigative cost, which equals $1,182.95. This cost is to be paid prior to the January Nuisance Abatement Board meeting, which is January 11th. If no meeting occurs on January, then prior to the next scheduled Nuisance Abatement Board meeting. The board will waive the remaining balance of the investigative cost if the owner complies with the board orders within the specified timeframes. If the owner fails to comply within the specified timeframes, the remaining 50% of the investigative costs will be assessed. If any of the above listed items are not complied with within the time frame set forth, a fine in the amount of $250 per day per item, not to exceed $250 per day, will be imposed for each day of non-compliance. The owner or legal representation will appear before the Nuisance Abatement Board at the January 11th meeting for status hearing and for all subsequent Nuisance Abatement Boards duration of the jurisdiction. The Nuisance Abatement Board will maintain jurisdiction over the property for a period of 1 year. We have a few photos to put up of the story, just to show you guys can see. So that's the story during the day, cleaned up right there. And at night, it's well lit, so it's not a problem. This was last night, hanging out front. He was there for a period of time. This is just on the north side of the store. Nobody's making any attempt to go in there. They're just hanging there for the same thing for a period of time. These are people on the south side. They're actually, there's one in the bush. One outside the bush and two inside the bush. It's all hanging out. Like hiding themselves from the front of the store. This is some of the items they sell in the store. All glass pipes, bigger ones and smaller ones. There's scales, there's weed grinders, there's CBD oil that they smoke, like the vape pens, there's CBD vape stuff in there. There they have, it's a lower percentage THC, so it's legal, but it's like weed, but lower. And then the big pans that people usually break up their weed on, they're selling all those in there. And these are in the bottom left, they look like Pepsi cans and Budweiser, they're Haida cans. So they're for the tops come off, they hide stuff in there, and that's also hand rolled. They're already pre-rolled marijuana cigarettes that with the lower THC, so they're legal. And that's all I got.
I have a few questions before we let you. Number one, the security cameras and stuff that are going to be there or already there. Do the employees know how to operate them? So if the police come in there and say, we need to look at this film, they can go in right away and review it.
That's Director.
Yeah.
Yes, great question. So my client has installed many cameras. I don't have the exact number, but when you walk in, there's a board that you can see, and then there's a back room where it's recorded on DVR, and they do have access, and they have been, my understanding, they have been trained on this. My client is the owner, and the place is actually operated by someone who's leasing the store, but he's had extensive conversations, they've been training, and the officers, the police does have access to it, and they do record it. So he's already installed that, and that is my understanding.
The operating hours, you don't know what they are, or?
I believe it's 24/7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Board members, do you have any questions? Or
Following up on the video, have we defined how long they should keep the video? What's more helpful for you
It's
guys?
gonna be the duration.
30 days, 60 days, 45 days.
30 days.
Maybe we should put that. And then I saw you said signs, large signs in windows. Is there a definition for that?
So we're talking about blocking the view, what I was telling those need to be removed. Yeah, what they were exactly, probably you could see some of the pictures, but when we originally started looking to the store, they had big game machines and they had, if there were beer signs or whatever, but you couldn't see in the store. So everybody could hide behind those things. They already complied, they moved, the game machines are gone. I would like to see some more. I'll go there and look and work with them. Take some of the other signs that are maybe covering a clear view that any police comes up,
Right.
still covering the front window. See,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Those big signs on the right hand side.
any other questions?
Is there a singular entry point? Is there any back entrance or any other access point other than that initial entry that we're seeing?
Yeah, no, there technically is a door in the back, but it's not for customer use, and my understanding is only my client has the key, so it's really the front entrance that customers can come in and out of.
I've been there. It's a big fence in the backyard. We've never seen anybody in the backyard.
And when were the gambling machines removed? Approximately.
Probably a month.
Okay, and have we seen any impact? And any sort of I'm realizing it's only been a month, but in any sort of tangible way that you.
From being there, I see less people hanging out inside.
Okay,
Because we've been looking into the store for a while, but they used to sit at the gambling machines. And anybody comes up, the store looks clean in front, but there's 3, 4 guys inside doing their thing, and that was just an excuse to stay there. Past times that we've been there, there's always been people hanging out. And that would be my one of the top concerns, is having somebody control the people hanging out on the store property. There's, I would say almost every time I go, there's somebody hanging out, which could be easily solved by, I mean, obviously there's security guards, we have the guy inside that's gonna go out there and make people leave. But it just, people hang around, brings more people that wanna hang out, because they know, hey, you can hang out here, let me hang out.
And how long has this tenant been the tenant, understanding that the owner is not the tenant?
Don't have a perfect answer, but I believe it's been about a year, but I can come back and I can let you know for sure.
Any other questions before Mr. Geller?
Thank you. Thank you, Detective. So I just want to say my client is extremely concerned about all of this. When he first found out about it, he calls us. And, he said he's already went ahead and purchased a security camera system. He spent, I have a number here, I don't think it's exact, but about $7,000 installing that. He's gone ahead and added floodlights. You saw the pictures that the place is lit at night. There's an alarm system, there's LED lights set up. He's removed, he's had extensive conversations with the operator and made it very clear. I've also made it very clear that, that there's a lease agreement. They have to follow all the laws. And, so far we're being told yes, and we're getting, we're getting we're being told what we want to hear. And my client has decided he's going to go there. He's going to try to go there every single day to check in on the place himself. We went through the list of recommendations already, and my client has basically agreed to them. Some of them I do also, there's some questions about how to define some of these terms, how best to do some of these things. But my client is absolutely committed to, working with this board, working with the detective to make sure that the place is in compliance. He doesn't want, it's a business and they don't want problems. So my client is absolutely wanting to correct any of these issues. I have some concern generally, logistically, the issue of people standing on the sidewalk, people going in and out. I think the answer is really the operator and any employees there. If they see someone standing there for a certain period of time, they will issue a trespass warning, and if they don't leave, they will call the police. And I think that's I'm trying to rack my brain on the best way to do that, and also make sure the business is still operational and profitable. And so, I'm trying to really figure out the best way to kind of meet the balance between business needs and making sure that we take care of these things. My client, he wants to work with you all and get this done. And so my client is willing to enter into whatever the agreement would be or stipulation to let's move forward. My goal would be to, not have jurisdiction for the entire year, maybe see how things are going and then have that conversation. But, I understand.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes. It's a year.
It's a state statute.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, my client absolutely wants to work with you.
Look, of course, the board's going to vote on whether or not to accept it, and the recommendations, if it is accepted, we want to work with the owner too. And as long as the owner is in compliance, there's not going to be an issue. But if there's issues, we will follow what the recommendations are. So I'm going to ask the board to make a vote on accepting Speedies as one of our nuisance abatement clients. If there are no more questions. Now, a motion.
So moved.
It's a motion to find that Speedy's is a nuisance. I know they don't want to. And I know I just so everyone knows, I've spoken with David Geller numerous times about this, and I know the owner's very concerned. I know David was concerned, and they don't want it to be declared a nuisance. I had told them that it's the only way it works. You're either declared a nuisance, you're not, and it's not like there's no other. We can't declare you like a slight problem. It has to be a nuisance, because that's the wording it's used.
And
So
signage that will go up says they're under the jurisdiction of the nuisance abatement board.
if you put the
So-
signs up, but
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is, at this point, the motion that the board has to make is a motion to find that Speedy's is in fact a nuisance underneath the statute, you're going to bring them under your jurisdiction, so.
Then aren't the signs obligatory after that? Once they're under jurisdiction, no, they're not.
They're part of the order.
They're usually part of the recommendations of the detective, but it's up to the board. It's not up to anyone else.
That should help keep people away from it.
Yeah. Signs.
Again, it's up to the board.
Yeah,
Right.
I have no input on that.
May I have a motion, please?
It's a motion to find Speedy's is a nuisance.
Go ahead and make the motion to find Speedy's a nuisance.
Second the motion.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk Reporter.
Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Mr. Pemper,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
and Chair Slotnick.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And next, a motion to accept if there are no modifications to the recommendation of the detective and the police department.
If I can just quickly ask a question on that. I didn't see anywhere in the recommendations any sort of, I guess what I would term like monitoring requirements. Is there any oversight being recommended? From the detective's perspective with respect to the property, any sort of presence that's required, any sort of, like I said, monitoring
Security, you mean
Yeah.
police department?
or not at this time? I'm just curious.
I mean, like I said, we're here to work with them. I mean, I'll give them the option what they want to do. It's, if the guy inside can go out and keep that area clear, I don't mind. And I'm not gonna say, hey, let's get a security guard now.
Okay.
It's just to keep it clear for us that he's got to call police when there's a trespasser. You know what I mean? Don't let him sit there. Every time I go by, there's people out there. There was a crowd, 5, 6 cars out there. Those guys aren't going and buying, a bunch of hanging out. So just keeping the front clear, keeps other people clear. And I'm okay with that, like I said. As the time goes by, if it keeps up compliance, it's like, we're working with you, not against you. You're not gonna notice that it's under nuisance abatement. So you come in like the other guy comes in, there's no bad calls, there's no fights out front, and you're open 24/7 too, so people 2, 3 in the morning come in there and you have weed grinders and crack pipes and stuff, so that's why I say, keep the front clear, get the narcotic paraphernalia off the shelves, like you said. So you're not bringing the best clientele there for that. So stuff like that, we'll work together.
That would be acceptable for us. We would, I think that would be great.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Questions?
Motion to accept the recommendations of the Fort Lauderdale Police Department.
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Madam Clerk Reporter. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lindsay,
Aye.
Mr. Pemper,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
and Chair Slotnick.
Passes. We look forward to working with you and your entity. The more they keep in compliance, you should have no problem. We will get our monthly reports. I hope eventually the owner will come here so we can at least meet him. If you have any questions, please contact the detective. And
All right, well,
nothing else from us.
thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Detective. And
I have a question to you,
Yes.
Mr. Gore. Who's our main point of contact? Is it gonna be you?
yes, please. That would be helpful.
Is he gonna, like, when we reach out eventually, is he gonna contact me or?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through
Could
the
we-
lawyer.
No, I think we need to have a chat with him to kind of walk through this.
We met with him already twice.
Yeah, I don't think that would. But any like official board communications, I at least want to be copied
Yeah.
on that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right, thank you all so much. Have a good one.
Have a good evening.
Happy holidays, everybody.
We'll be back on January 11th.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Say hi to Adam.
I will.
Thank you.
I think we should do this one.
Okay,
So,
It's
okay.
a similar case, yeah.
Somewhat. Okay, the next case we're gonna call is number 23-05-03, 3081 Northwest 19th Street. Detective.
All right. First, how are you guys doing?
Very well, thank
All right. So calls for service of the past 30 days totals 37 with no nuisance related calls. Most of the calls didn't take place at all on his property, but the whole east side of the strip mall that has people hanging out all sorts of the night. Majority of the calls were noise complaints coming from people loitering in the strip mall parking lot. There were a few shots fired calls that were all unfounded, and one narcotics incident which didn't occur on the front store at all. We have been receiving weekly reports from the owner, have been in contact with him on a regular basis, and it's very cooperative. Property is in compliance and will return on January 11th. Jurisdiction ends June 20th, 2024. That's it. Oh, one thing. Everything's good. A couple pictures, but there's one picture up here. You gotta give it to your guy. I'll have one. So back in the alley again. The problem that was occurring
Yes.
a while back, so they're back there with chairs setting up, so they gotta just keep the people out the front store there with that. That's it.
Great.
Right?
Thank you.
Big
very much.
improvement.
Yes, thank you.
Big improvement. I know
Or-
that's.
Yes. I actually identified one day driving by and didn't expect me passing, but I constantly monitor the property because, like I said, we want to make sure we stay in compliance. And they had a barbecue grill in front there, which is against the order. And I stopped and make sure they comply immediately. I actually engaged the Fort Lauderdale police and stayed there until they removed it. So know that we're not going to play with them. Yes, and they did comply. So just want to know we are constantly monitoring and making sure that we stay in compliance.
Appreciate it.
So thank you very much.
Thank
and
you
I
very
wish
much.
everyone a happy holiday. Thanks
You as
again.
well.
Thank you.
See you on the 11th of
Yes.
January. Yeah. Okay, and now we'll call out our final case, which is 22-11 0. I'm sorry, 22-11-03, 5100 North State Road, 7 Plaza Hotel.
Can I ask a general question about loitering in front of these stores?
After,
After, okay.
So yeah, Mr. Gordon, how you guys doing? All right, calls for service of the past 30 days, 42 with nothing nuisance related. Some of the calls, there's 2 assaults, 3 larcenies, there was an overdose. Several other calls came in, disturbances and trespassing, so getting better. A couple notable calls though, during one of the assault incidents, subject got an altercation somewhere on the property. Ended up walking around and coming through your front lobby, and he had face covered with blood, walking through the front lobby. I'm sure with patrons there, and I guess you had spoke to him, and just something happened on the property, and then he left with what we wanted to walk off.
Yep.
So another assault incident. A patron of the hotel had an ex-boyfriend push his way into her room, attacked her, and attempted to rape her. The female ended up being a prostitute and was having clients come to her room, so she was actually prostituting for one of the rooms, and his ex-boyfriend posing as a client, and he was mad. She opened the door for him. She thought it was a client, pushed his way in and roughed her up and tried to do other things, but when the cops got there, he was gone already. So one of the other larcenies, a patron was moving rooms. I guess she made her move her room. She had a backpack on one of the roller carts in the aisle. When the cart was left unattended for a short period of time, her backpack was stolen off the cart. She said the only people she saw was 2 hotel employees that walked by the cart while it was unattended.
So how, none of these are nuisance related? What may,
Larcenies.
larceny, no, and
One other one was another.
yeah, hard to, for it to be.
Yeah, to answer your question better, they may sound like nuisances, like if they're at your house, like that's definitely a nuisance in front of my house. I don't want that. But nuisance crimes are enumerated by Florida statute. And so like marijuana, gang activity, I forget what they all are. Prostitution it mentioned prostitution, but it wasn't charged. So it's not,
Was in charge?
the female in this case,
Oh,
She wasn't charged, like it
she
wasn't.
allegedly being a prostitute wasn't charged.
she was in charge.
She was not, meaning we don't have any witnesses to go forward.
Ah,
If
But
you
the
got arrested for
detective-
prostitution on the property.
then it's. a-
Right, but so, well, the detective is making a statement based on his investigation.
I see.
He believes she was a prostitute,
That's what, okay,
but we can't prove it
got it.
beyond any reasonable doubt because we don't have any witnesses to say that she was offering some kind of intercourse for money. And that's what it is. And so that's what's going on. So we have enumerated crimes, which are nuisance crimes. And so if you don't meet that nuisance crime, then you're not a nuisance, although you're still criminal property and you still have 40 some calls for service, but they're not nuisance related. If that makes sense.
Right.
So it sounds like a nuisance.
Yeah,
Another one, the lady was there using the computer at the hotel's business desk. She left her bag right there while she was using the computer, went to the bathroom, came back and her bag was stolen. Which brings me to the security guards situation. We're still unsure of the hotel's 2 security guard schedules, or if there is one on a regular basis. There's an actual full-time security. I don't believe some of these incidents would occur. I know certain things can't be avoided, but I've done several checks on the property recently, and every time I've gone, still I haven't seen a security guard walking around. It was at one time before the last meeting. I saw him out there. It was good. He was inside and outside. Living now, we have one full-time staff still, but they're not being visible from where I see from me driving around. So we agreed on having security. Some of these things easily, I think, would have been prevented if you have a security guard out there. You know, can't prevent everything. I get it, for sure.
I'm surprised that we didn't see security because I just received the bills for security and I know that we've been having like five agents a day. So even more than what the meeting requested last time. I actually told Jay to cut down because I was kind of surprised to see 14,000 in 2 weeks of security. So it's approximately what I've been paying right now. So if we don't see security, clearly I might have a problem with the company. There's actually 2 different companies there. There's one at night, we're trying a new one. And we have the same old company that is covering the morning AMs and PM shifts. I've got 2 in the PM, 2 at night, 1 in the AM.
Well,
maybe you're just getting.
I believe you.
I can prove it with the bills.
I know, but your camera should show whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to.
Right.
Well, I'm not watching my cameras
Maybe
like.
you're just getting.
But
the
this is something that is, you know, if he's going there and he's not seeing security anywhere, this is a problem.
As I'm having my security reports, they're doing rounds like before. Every hour they're doing rounds. They're checking the doors less since they were repaired. We still have alarms if the doors are propped open. They're propped open time to time. I mean, me being here for the past 3 days, I haven't seen much activity happening. And the hotel has been pretty quiet because we've kicked out all the long-term customers. I took out the rent roll because since we're selling the property, we wanted to get rid of maximum of no 28 days and more occupancy. So almost everyone got, not almost everyone, but let's say 30 customers around that got kicked out. And I think those customers were also bringing some nuisance related issues because they were staying there already for a long period of time. So me, I've never seen the property this like quiet. I don't know. I'm actually pretty surprised knowing that there was 42 calls because our occupancy has been running very low. The hotel has never been as non-profitable.
I didn't group in for the last couple of weeks and they're over a month.
But even over a month, I'm surprised because there's almost no one at the hotel. The occupancy is very, very low right now.
If there's a call in your parking lot, you might even not even notice. You might not even see it either, you know what I mean?
Do you have any more?
Yeah, a little bit. So we prepared and requested the compliance document and emailed it November 15th to Robert and the legal representative for the buyer. We contacted Mr. Yale on November 27th, asking for an update on the sale of the property. He told us the purchasing company asked for an extension of due diligence until December 5th. And then they should have a definite answer by the following week. Based on all the inspections they performed in the past month, the sale is most likely to go through. As what we were talking about. Mr. Yale thought the closing could be on December 13th, which was yesterday, and then they would have 7 days to empty the building. And you said you would connect us with the new owners. As of now, jurisdiction ends December 20th. We were just notified today that the closing of your schedule for January 15th. I'm recommending that jurisdiction is extended for 90 days after December 20th, which they're gonna be off. With a reevaluation next month, depending on if the sale went through. If the sale of the property does not go as planned, I recommend the plaza stay under jurisdiction for another 6 months. Just because some of the incidents keep occurring.
Any questions? Board. Agree? Chris?
Couple
No,
pictures, I mean.
Yeah.
The pictures are good. The outside is totally lit up, very clean. They're taping the windows up because I guess you guys are painting the building.
Well, we're doing the 40-year cert, so we're redoing all the exterior of the building. But I've got a question on this nuisance abatement meeting, because it's been like a year we're on this board. We've tried all kind of formula. We had detail, we had security, put lighting, we put extra cameras. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a hotel of 272 rooms in an area that is kind of hard to operate. I don't know what is expected from us to have like 10 calls, 15 calls, because it's kind of never gonna happen, I think, in this area. I mean, I would love to see it happening, but I don't see it going that way.
But they're not nuisance related also. It's not like.
So that doesn't fall under us.
Right.
But he still has to report that these happened, but they aren't under our jurisdiction. What falls under the jurisdiction were the recommendations of the Fort Lauderdale Police. That's what we're concerned about.
That I understand. But what I want to say is that all these like measures and everything we're taking, it's costing us like huge monies. Even if we're not selling the property, we're at loss right now. Because the property has what, an occupancy of 30%. You can't operate a hotel at 30% occupancy. We're refusing all the cash customers. We've been kicking out all the customers that we can. It's like almost impossible to operate in these type of conditions. Like we need to have more security agents a day. On a business standpoint of view, it's almost impossible to operate.
Well, if things would be where they're supposed to be, wouldn't be in the situation. Obviously, there's things have happened that got you to this point, and we're here to help you correct it. I'm sorry if it's a hardship for you, but the longer it takes to get this remedy, it's going to be a hardship.
What would be the remedy? Like
You're
we
saying
tried,
that there's no nuisance calls. In the last 30 days, have there been any nuisance calls?
Nothing that qualified.
But why are we extending another 90 days if they don't close?
Okay, we're still getting certain incidents, I mean, not qualifying, but I feel like even if it changes hands, I still wanted like 90 days just to see, to make sure that it's status quo. If it keeps jurisdiction, I like to keep it for another 6 months, just to make sure, like you just said, got security guards. And he's paying them. I'm going by and I'm not seeing him. He doesn't want, not watching the cameras, which that's totally up to you, to see if they're really walking around, if they're doing the job. And maybe if they were going around, there'd be less calls. So it's more of a balance. Bringing less calls, maybe them doing more of a job. Things would be status quo,
But you're saying there's no nuisance calls
but they're still under nuisance abatement.
Do we have,
until December 20th.
Please, go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just trying to get there. If they're supposed to come off on December 20th and there are no nuisance calls, I'm trying to figure out why we're still going another 6 months past December 20th.
Their year is December 20th.
I guess as a procedural question, would we still meet on January 11th and have to affirmatively relinquish control? Or if we don't extend today, then come January 11th, they will automatically have sunshined out of the control of nuisance abatement?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, so the way it works is if we don't renew jurisdiction right now, it'll end on the 20th.
Okay, so come January 11th, the new meeting, they will no longer be.
They
under
would
the
only be
jurisdiction
scheduled for
of
the
the
meeting.
nuisance.
They would
Okay.
walk out of here looking forward to their sale, not being under the jurisdiction. And if we had more than 2 calls in 6 months, they'd come back under the jurisdiction. They'd be under the jurisdiction again.
but I was gonna ask some question too, but are you asking how many months of no nuisance calls do we
There-
need?
That's I'm sorry, that's not the way it works.
Well, how does it work then?
You're allowed to bring them under the jurisdiction of this board. The jurisdiction of this board lasts up to 1 year. You can set it less than 1 year, but if you set it at the full maximum of 1 year, then it ends at that 1 year unless you find there is a reason to extend jurisdiction.
Okay,
So if you don't extend jurisdiction on the basis that they've cleaned up the property or you are satisfied with how it's gone and they've, made their efforts, whatever it is, it's not that clear on what the statute says. But what happens is the jurisdiction would end if you don't renew the jurisdiction.
and the reason is our reason, meaning it
Well, your
doesn't,
reason
it doesn't
comes from-
say, well,
No,
hold on a
no,
second, hold on a second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere that there should be no nuisance calls over 90 days for us. Are there any guidelines for us?
No,
No,
there
so
are
we
there are no
decide.
guidelines like that. I think the way it's built is that you have a board in place, you have a detective that does the investigations of the property and a team that works with the detective, like Joyce and other people. And there's no 90-day or no 1 day or 2 weeks that to be clean. It's up to the board to
Okay.
monitor that, and that's why you all are put in that position. You all are put in place by your respective commissioners.
Yeah,
Just for Chris, the other video, that they just came under compliance very recently. Just what, a month ago, you came in finally under compliance with the doors. So it's not like you've been several months under compliance. Just got there. My 90 days would be, you just got here. Let's just make sure you're maintaining what you got. And the other thing would be, if you're done with us off compliance, like, what's the complaint? What would you do that different?
Right, exactly.
Well, there's two things. One, being in a nuisance abatement doesn't help us for the sale. Right now, I'm trying to clear everything from the hotel, clear all the title, clear all the issues. Doesn't help us for the new owners. Their due diligence, why they're pushing each time, is one, we haven't completed it 40 years. Second point is we're still in a nuisance abatement. The person that is buying this is a big corporation. They're not interested at all being part of anything of this. Then they just want the building, clear everyone out and renovate the whole building, not operate it as a hotel. So for me, it's not very easy to sell the property when we're having all these issues. At the same time, what I want to change also, if I'm not in the meeting anymore, I would still have security, maybe not 5. I'd have like 1 in each shift, maybe a better agent, maybe a different company. I don't know. I'm gonna have to contact, like we tried a new company, Stormfrog. By what I see, like by what Jay tells me, they're doing great, apparently, at overnight. I'm not here to monitor it 24/7. I don't watch the cameras. I've got 12 hotels to monitor. It's for me, I think we were doing fine. I'm pretty surprised that we have this. Yes, my objective is to get less calls, less nuisance, but I've got 272 rooms in an area that is problematic. I can walk around the area. In front, it's problematic also. It's everywhere like that. What should I do as a business owner to be able to make it really better? I got lights. I invested 20,000 in lights, 15,000 in cameras. I'm still having cameras on the outside. I've got about a payroll of 15,000 in security every 2 weeks. Like, what else is expected from us as the business owner to clean this up?
But after a year, that just came into compliance recently with all that. You know what I mean?
Well, what came into compliance recently would be the doors, that yes.
Which means you're finally in compliance. Close time. What we're saying, are you gonna start doing cash again? Like what's being off, what is gonna change?
I'm not gonna accept cash again, but I would surely
everything
take the
I see.
deposit less. Well, for me, what good would it make me if I take cash again and then we jump up to 90 calls again and you guys call me back and I come back to the board?
So it's mostly to sell.
For me, it's to sell. Like, what good is it for me to start taking cash, making the property go back down again, and I'm being called again, and then we start all over another year? It doesn't give me any good. What I want is for sure to reduce our expenses. So instead of having 5 or 4 agents, I'd have just 1 per shift, maybe a good agent, more control maybe on those agents, 1 per shift. Finish the 40 years and sell this property, get rid of it. Because for us, we deem that the area has nothing, we can't make it better. Even if I invest 2 million in that property, make the rooms better, I'll never be able to get better rates. The property is just, for me, it's doomed. And that's why if you look at the rates in January, February, we put it at 300, 400, because I want no customers. I want to empty the hotel. This is what I'm trying to do, is empty the hotel.
Doomed why?
Well, doomed because the area. I've got a big hotel. If you look in that area, all the hotels are 90 rooms, 95 rooms. You've got some hometown suites or Homewood suites. They're like 95 rooms. Why? Because they got corporate groups and stuff like that to fill it up. Try to fill a 272 rooms hotel in that area. It's impossible.
That's why your buyer needs your property though, 'cause it's not available anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Also, that's a big property in that area, and they want to do another purpose, because buying it as a hotel, it makes no sense. If you look at the business, it makes no sense buying it as a hotel at all. Right now, we're just in loss each month. Each month we have this hotel, we're losing money. So we're just trying to get rid
I'm
of
sure
it.
you'd like to get rid of this and have the 40-year thing only to concentrate on.
That would be nice.
That
That would
40
be
years
nice
is bad.
because that 40 years is already like,
That's bad.
it's costing us like huge amount of money. As you can see outside, it's a construction site right now. The building's shaking all day. Like we've been having issues on issues on issues since this purchase. We just want to get rid of it.
Well, if
The outside, to me, looks good. That's its.
Look at the.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you got cranes and you got everything outside. We've been redoing the windows. It's been hard to navigate with the customers, so. My orders to Jay is like,
We wish it looked like that, I'm sure 6 months ago.
we wished also that it looked like that 6 months ago. We didn't act fast enough. For sure, for the doors, we didn't act fast enough. In our defense, we paid an invoice first and then we got, like, the guy never showed up.
Right, you got shot.
So, That happened once and we kind of got scared of
They ordered windows, they never showed up.
getting other contractors. We never thought that buying a hotel like this would be this crazy. Like, not long ago, I heard that there was a room, a guy just took what did it take, a remote or something, and broke on the window because there's prostitution or something, and someone was not happy in the room. Crazy things happen in this hotel. And what can I do about all that? Like, I'm controlling the customers, you
Back
know?
to buy more property later.
Another property, maybe near the beach or maybe somewhere else where we can operate or we can invest
They'll be back.
and put money in to make it better. But here, I don't see it. I don't see us making it better.
Well, they actually are coming up on their year and the board decides not to extend it 90 days. It doesn't mean in another month or two, they're not going to be under our jurisdiction. It's whether you're the owners or not.
Right.
And if it comes back under our jurisdiction again in 2 months, you can't be sitting here going, what else are we gonna do? You know it needs to be done. We tried to help you get there.
Mhm.
All you have done, the majority of the time, is telling us it's killing us. I'm sorry, we're not the ones who put you in this situation. We're not the ones who had the hotel that had all these things happen.
No, I'm not accusing the board of
No, but
doing this.
this is how it's coming across.
I'm sorry if it's feeling this way. I'm not accusing the board that it's killing the business, but it's the whole stress and the whole problem that we're having with
I'm
this
sure it is.
property. Like, my objective is not to come back to the board. It's not to say, hey, let's take
But you
cash,
have
let's
to
allow
look at
everything.
too. And
So,
you're in compliance now. You know, they're telling us what they're finding as far as the other things. They still need to keep us apprised of what's going on. Not that we can do anything about, that's up to the hotel to take care of the things that don't fall under us. As long as you're under us, that's all I care about. It's all the board cares about. That's what our job is to do. It's what our positions are to do.
So if we take the position, let's say we took the position that we're done with them now, December 20, then we do not need to make any motions?
Correct.
Yeah, it's just by natural
You
flow.
you could do things like find them in compliance today, again, it wouldn't matter. They're gonna wash out of the
Do
system. on
anything,
the 20th.
basically.
Right, they'll wash out of the system on the 20th.
Does someone have to make a motion to accept,
And that is why we have problems with like properties coming back 10 years later saying, hey, they were in compliance and nothing happened, because Joyce and I know that what happens, people come back and they find that an error in the title or something holding the title up because no one ever cleared the property. But we've been on top of that since Joyce has been here with it, so. She would have to get the.
It goes to you and they don't have to post their call on your behalf. Just so you know, we're not just targeting, we've checked the other hotels. They just don't have the.
you're talking of like La Quinta or hotels that are close, for sure, but the size of the property is not the same, and the standing of the hotel is much nicer than ours. Us is like a,
I don't want to say, because I don't know how to run a hotel, how they're running it or what they're doing.
I don't know the number.
Bringing less negative attention to it.
that's for sure, but let's say us, we close down. Where's all this gonna go? It's gonna go to the Grand, it's gonna go, I know exactly the hotels that are pretty much like us.
Never do the same thing.
Never gonna go.
It's moving around.
You know, it's a
They're
120,
picking you right now?
90 rooms property, we would keep it. But right now, there's nothing we could do with this.
Well, I'm sure there's no.
Yeah.
The objective is really to get rid of it.
All right.
Okay,
And that's it.
that's it.
Hopefully, we won't have to see you anymore and make your life happy too.
Thank you, gentlemen. So I wanna keep the property good. My objective is not to
Sell
go
it,
back.
sell it.
That's what
Sell
we're
it.
trying to do. I hope that the seller is gonna accept buying it. I wanna finish my 30.
At this point. But, on the other side of that is, if nothing happens in 60 days and it's not sold and y'all do a drive-by and see, that's just the chance they're gonna have to take.
Just through the chair, if I may.
Sure.
Sometimes logistically, when the properties go through sale, they'll often contact Joyce or the investigating detective. Because paperwork is required for us to essentially remove liens, and from what the county requires through any title processing that they may do. So I don't know if it's.
Yeah, it's a defect on this, I would suggest that.
I guess the crafting would be to definitively not continue beyond
Just
whatever
to
the
state
date
that the
is.
jurisdiction of the Nuisance Abatement Board has
There's a
ended
document
and the
that
property is
prepared.
now in compliance.
But just so that the authority rests with Joyce to be able to prepare that document,
This
to
is
take to the
after
county
the
to.
20th, they're no
done.
longer under
Yeah, I
jurisdiction.
was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
No, that's fine.
I'll
Yeah,
prepare the
yeah.
document and, where do you want me to send it? You have it will be an original document that you will have to take to the government center in the city of Fort Lauderdale and report it, or else there's no reason to have it.
You can
If
send
don't
us.
Report it,
Mm.
then that's not gonna clear
In-
it. It will stay on your record.
In this case, you can send it to Ari, our attorney. Ari, that
Same-
emailed
same
me,
gentleman
Ari
doing the
Regent,
closing?
exactly.
Okay.
He will take it and he'll go clear it for
And
us.
he'll report it.
Yeah, he'll record it.
Okay.
He will. So
So
he'll
we
run.
wanted a motion.
No, we're not
He-
making.
No, you were saying, did you want a motion?
You don't need a motion, you
Definitive?
don't need a motion, it'll naturally clear. I think what the detective was offering was a direction from the board for Joyce to act upon. So she can draft a letter that'll clear on the 20th. They'll state that the property was found in compliance with jurisdiction ends on the 20th of December, 2023. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much and wish you happy holidays. I really didn't think that we would get this.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much and we hope that it's gonna be sold. If it is, I'm sure there'll be no more news. They're gonna close it. If not,
Nobody's gonna want.
I mean, the best thing for the property going forward to be stay in contact with the detective too, and
I have
make sure the new owners know.
I have a question about loitering for a second.
Lord,
Loitering, in front of these convenience stores. What if these were homeless people?
Right.
We're not allowed to clear them away from sidewalks and stuff, right?
what do you mean?
It's part of the business.
Yeah, you can ask.
Businesses,
Yes.
you can clear them.
Private property anywhere, even on public property, if there's a requirement for it, but private property all the time.
Oh, private property all the time.
Private property all the time, get out, leave, bye. You have no business to be here,
Okay.
especially when they show up and they start doing like demonstrations and stuff, you're
Okay.
gone.
I
And then
see.
if they're causing a problem with the operation of the courthouse, they're gone. Or if they're causing a problem.
Okay, but anywhere public,
And anywhere public just changed also. The law just changed in Fort Lauderdale.
oh, okay.
So if you're interfering with a licensed vendor or a licensed party, like somebody rents a park from the pavilion, then you cannot interfere with that party.
Excuse me one moment, please.
Sorry.
It is 8:03. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion. We are adjourned. Happy New Year.